Welcome back to More Moss to the People. My name is Åsa Nilsson, and I am your host. It's October. What the hell is going on with the time? Flying by. And this episode is going to be a solo-sode, just me. Just me, myself, and Irene. It's been a while. And I wanted to take some time and just be with you, just me and you. Yeah. I've had my mom on the past 2 episodes, which has been so healing for me and apparently for other people too. People that you would never expect that what you do makes a difference to somebody else. Like when I decided to do the legacy episodes with my mom, it was really more for my family. It was more for the nieces and nephews and the great-grandchildren that potentially will never even know her, let alone what her voice sounded like. And I wish I would have done something like this with my dad. I really do. But of course, that's too late. Dad died in 2005. So I think what has really hit me is that you don't really ever know the impact that you have on other people. When you're just doing your thing, you're just going about your life, going about your day, doing your thing, and just, loving what you're doing and having a good time and sharing of your heart, sharing of yourself in a way where you're not feeling like watched or anything like that, but in a way that it actually makes a difference where you feel really good inside. The difference that you can make for other people is astounding. And I found that in these last 2 episodes because it touched so many people. We all come from a mother and a father, whether we know them or not, whether we are adopted and we come into a new family. We all come from somewhere. And it sits in us. Our history, our ancestry sits in our cells, sits in our bodies. And for us to kind of recognize that no one is exempt from this, that everyone comes to the table with their own stories, I think it's really important. I think it's important. And when I was doing the recordings, I wasn't thinking about how important it was for others. I was thinking more of, I'm so glad that I've got my mom sitting next to me and she's willing to do this with me because she didn't want to. I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like she was signing up for this. This was something that I really wanted, that her grandchildren wanted, her children wanted. And she finally agreed. And so it made a difference. It made a difference. And why this is important is I want you to consider, again, having these conversations yourself with your family. If you have a telephone, if you have a phone, can you hit voice record and sit down and have conversations with your loved ones about their stories? Let them share their stories. Everyone has a story and everyone matters. This is a constant kind of reminder that keeps coming to me right now. We all matter and we all have a voice. We all have a choice. Now that's coming up November 5th in America with the choice of the elections, which are coming up full swing ahead. And interestingly, Thomas and I will be in America when the elections, the big elections happen in the US. And that is going to be super interesting. A super interesting process for Thomas to be a part of as a Swede who has never been a part of an American election. And we will be smack dab in the middle of Houston, Texas during the actual vote and the whatever happens afterwards, right? We don't know. We don't know. So let's wait and see. So I think that's super exciting, scary. I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous about it because I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but you don't know if people are crazy. People do stupid, crazy things. And I choose to see peace. I choose to see that I'm going to be safe. Thomas is going to be safe. So we're just going to go ahead. We're moving forward, right? Yes, we're moving forward. So this month, this month, this beautiful month of now October. What month is it? Where are we? Where am I? Who am I? Right? I'm considering a lot of different things. It's 57. I'm 57 now. Got my hairs cut off again. Got my hair cut off. You'll see if you're looking at the video on YouTube that I got all my hair cut off again, which basically I do that every year. Couldn't care less. Do not care about my hair. And it just kept getting longer and longer. I wear a ponytail every day. And for women out there who also do the same thing, it's very freeing, and it feels so good to cut your hair. It's like cutting ties to the past, cutting the ties that no longer suit, that no longer fit, that don't sit right anymore. Gotta get rid of them. So I'm like, Tim, cut it off. Just cut it off. Like, whatever you want to do, just chop it. And he's like, okay. Okie dokie. So he does this for me because he is a love, and he's one of my best friends, and he is excellent at cutting hair. So thank you, Tim Chani, for fixing my hair for me. I appreciate it. And the moving forward of, we've been having people in our homes. My mom has been here for 2 months. My best girl Tammy has been here for nearly 3 weeks. She left yesterday. And taking time to be in union with people that I love, taking time to choose to be present and not worrying about what's coming our way. What is it? Is there anything that is like in the back of my mind that I'm worrying about, or that I'm trying to fix, manage, and control, when in fact, we have absolutely no control over the future. We do not know what's going to happen. And I have to then also, again, the things that I'm considering are, I heard something, it was so interesting listening to this. Listen to this. Conflict delayed is conflict multiplied. Conflict delayed is conflict multiplied. So, because I am, are you avoiding dealing with something? Are you do you have something that you need to have a conversation with somebody about, but you keep putting it off? Or you're trying to own something it's really somebody else's. Like, what's on their side of the street? What's on my side of the street? Determining what truly is mine and staying in my lane. Like, if I imagine I'm in a car and I'm trying to decide what you're going to do in your lane, well, then I'm not in my lane. Then I'm in your lane trying to figure out what you're doing, when in fact, just get back over here, Åsa. Get back over here. And what do I need to work on? And I constantly, every day, I honestly, I believe this. Every day, I need to take a look at my boundary work. How can I have solid boundaries in place, know what they are, live by them, have the line in the sand, right, where I'm not going beyond this. And if something happens, I won't backpedal. I won't change my boundary because it makes you feel more comfortable. I think that it's very important to consider the thought that an authentic life, like living a truly authentic life, means we have to make some other people uncomfortable, because our truth, our version or vision of what the truth is, may not be aligned with somebody else's. Now, am I willing to still stand up for myself and my beliefs about what I feel and what I see in a situation that may be super uncomfortable? I want to avoid it. I really don't want to talk about. I know I need to talk about it, but I am maybe not just ready just yet. So what's happening is conflict delayed is conflict multiplied. More problems keep coming in, more things keep coming to me that maybe I'm acting out sideways. Maybe I am deflecting something. I'm not taking ownership or accountability truly in other ways, in other places, other spaces with this person or persons, because I'm not dealing with the issue. I'm not looking, and it's here. It's in the back of my head. Obviously, you can't get rid of it until you do something about it. And what does that mean? You gotta get it out. You gotta get it off of you in a way that's loving. And see, that to me, that's the hard part. That's the hard part because, I work on being softer because I grew up very hard. I grew up very encased in my cancer crab shell because that was safe. That made me the false perception of safety, right? If I'm cold, or if I'm nasty, or if I retaliate, like if I lash back at somebody who is hurting me instead of using my words in a positive, proactive way, and that feels good. I mean, I had to learn that lesson. I had to learn that lesson because I will not know what feels good for me until I do something that does not feel good to me or for me. So now this conversation or conversations, the uncomfortable conversations that maybe I have to have, it's who's it for? Who's it for? Ultimately, it's for me. It's for me and my growth. And so this is where I'm at now, at looking at myself as a 57-year-old woman. Who am I today? What are my needs, wants, and desires today? Because they're not the same. They're not the same as they were when I was 50, 55, 25, right? I mean, our desires, needs, and wants change. And I think that these conversations that I'm having with beautiful people right now in my life and potential clients, and where are you? I don't know. I don't know who I am. I'm so lost. I don't even know who I am anymore. That's so beautiful. When I hear people say that, it makes me, first off, of course, want to hug them, but also it makes me remember I'm not alone. I was right there, a minute ago, right? So the story of who's coming up behind you and who am I holding the lantern for that's coming up the path behind me? Who am I holding the lantern for? I'm holding the lantern for myself first and foremost, because I need to see myself on my path. I need to own my own path. And my path looks really crazy to a lot of people. People do not understand. What are you doing? How are you and Thomas doing this? Why? Why are you doing this? Ah, because we want to, because this feels good. This feels good to us. So me standing in my power in that way feels completely aligned and super great and powerful and happy, and we're laughing a lot. And at the same time, where am I avoiding, ignoring situations and conversations that I have to have because they are still there, even though having a great time with Thomas and we are helping people, we're aligned and working together. We're going to America. We're going to help beautiful clients. We're going to come back, and then we're going to go back to America. I'm going to go back to America in January. And, all of this, it's like it feels terrific. And still holding on here. There's still something that's making me feel unsettled. What is it? What is it? Conflict delayed is conflict multiplied. How can I be soft? How can I be loving to myself, my truth, what I see, what scares me? What scares me to say to this person because the potential risk is they will leave. Ah, there it is. The potential risk is they say, I don't want to have you anymore in my life. You don't belong in my club anymore. Is it worth it? Is it worth the risk? If my sharing my truth of what I feel and see in a situation does not mean more to me than belonging, then what am I doing this for? What it goes against everything I stand for. And that's why there's the rub, right? Even though I am asking myself these questions of how can I be this and that? Do you ever do this? Do you ever feel so terrific in one area and like so elated and then so heavy in another? Like, I don't know, maybe that's how life is supposed to be. I have no idea. Shit, please. I do not know. I do not profess to know. My job in my life, I believe, is to take ownership of what is mine. I am responsible for myself and only myself. I am responsible for myself and only myself. Coming back in my lane. Where's my lane? I let go of other people's problems. How can I let go of other people's problems when I care so much? Their problems aren't my problems, but aren't they? What's mine? What's the problem, Asa? If you don't have a problem with it, then there's no problem. But I have a problem with it. So will I say something? Will I say something? Yeah. In order to have my limitations, my old order, my old restrictions removed from my cells, I have to do something different. And as a person that grew up with very few boundaries in place for myself, very, 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 very few boundaries, I am learning that it is okay. It is okay for me to feel waffled. It is okay for me to feel terrific and still hurting and worried in another area because I could potentially be thrown out of the club. I can stop being accepted. I can stop being loved by that person because of my truth. That's a possibility. It is a possibility. But there's still my questions that I have to ask myself. And mm, I don't know. I feel like right now in the universe, there's so many things being pulled in certain ways, and there's a energy of hope. I hear there's an energy of hope in America that maybe there's who knows again, who knows what's going to happen? We have no clue. But what we do know is we got to get involved. We have to make our voice heard, right? How else can we make our voice heard? By really taking the time and reconsidering ourselves today. Who am I today? Today, on this day of all days, who am I? I've had this time to contemplate, to reflect, to love, to heal, to feel anger, to feel resentment, to all the feelings. It's like the gamut of feelings. Do you allow yourself the gamut of feelings amidst all the options, all the alternatives that are around us all the time? I heard another thing, apathy of options, the apathy of options, meaning we become more apathetic in our lives because we have so much. We can have anything, any moment of any day. Yeah. If I wanted, let me order it. You know what? That's what Amazon's for. Let me get what I want. I can order anything I want, any moment of any day. You think that's a problem? What do you think that's doing to us? What is it doing to our hearts, to our gentleness, to our softness? Because I believe that the apathy of options, having so many options available to us, that we become so apathetic to the options, that we become apathetic to the fact of what has to come into, what has to go behind the options to even be delivered to us. It's like we just it's like we're I Dream a Genie. We could just, like, go like this, and then all of a sudden things appear, or like Bewitched or whatever it is. And it's true. I mean, it's true. Our lives have become this. And I don't want that. I like going to a restaurant that doesn't have 60 pages to it because I cannot figure out what I want. Don't give me so many options. I can't. I just can't. But our lives are like this veritable menu of anything. The world is your oyster. That's true. That is true. But how can we be discerning with our love, with our relationships, with our hearts, with our hopes? How can we be discerning to still have an open heart, an open mind, open eyes to the people around us that are hurting, that have so many options in front of them? The world is my oyster. What is happening to us? What is happening? The energy is shifting, my friends. The energy is shifting in this world, and I know I'm not alone. I feel it. I feel it. It is like a palpable. I sit here and do this with my fingers because I feel it's almost like there's something in my fingers right now. How can I look inside first, inside my job, inside job, fixing, looking at, tending to this beautiful temple, this temple, which is mine. I have one life. I have one body. And how am I going to take care of it? Will I, inside and outside, body, mind, heart, and soul? Yeah. It's not just about, am I going to work out? Yeah. Yeah. Yes. That's a piece of our lives. Yeah. There's so much more. How are we tending to ourselves? And if we think that conflict delayed is conflict multiplied, how do you think it's impacting our body, mind, soul? How do you think it's coming back to us? Because everything is always cyclical. Everything always comes back around. So we come back to the karmic questions of, will I establish my boundary, my non-negotiable boundary? The line is in the sand. I will not be okay with this in my life. I do not accept. This is my non-negotiable point of reference. And when I teach other people that, did you hear that? That was my husband. Hold on, please. When we teach other people that our boundaries don't matter to us, then our boundaries don't matter to them. I'm getting real clear on what mine are. I'm getting really clear and using my voice, using my heart, coming from my heart. No more delaying conflict. No more. No more. It's not possible. It's not possible for my healthy body, my mind, my soul. What about you? Are you delaying any conflict so that you do not have to have the discomfort? I hope not. You be good to yourself. Take care, and I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.